for freedom! To the death!
Yeah! We have power!
So I decided to change it up a bit today, play a bit of Ghost Recon Online. A friend of mine told me about a month ago that this was a good game, but I never got around to actually playing it, and he was totally right, because I've been playing a few rounds of it, and it is actually a really good game. I'm playing as this Salter here. There's also a sniper and a specialist who's got an LMG. But you're probably wondering why my bullets aren't hitting on target all the time, even when I'm aiming down the sides. But those little sort of white lines that protrude, they're sort of a crosshair for aiming down the... Like you usually have a crosshair for hip firing, they're a sort of crosshair for aiming down the sides. So you, instead of Battlefield 3 where you get a little bit of random bullet deviation after you've been firing for a while, COD of course, every bullet hits on target. But in this game, the deviation is massive, and it does depend whether or not you're in cover or not. So cover is so important. When I push up onto here in a second, you'll see, just there on the right, that I get increased control and accuracy of my gun when I'm pushed up against cover. But fuck that, because I'm just going to run in as a Spartan. You know, if you got a shield out and you're not running in there for Sparta, well, why would you run with a shield, basically? Unless you're a crazy guy. I don't know what that Recon there was doing. Completely oblivious. I have got some Recon footage later on in the video to show you, and I may or may not have put that Michael Fassbender soundbite from 300 there in the intro. Unfortunately, that doesn't play when you get your shield out and run at people, which I find to be a little bit disappointing, to be perfectly honest. Michael Fassbender, most of you probably, I don't know whether you knew or not, he was in 300. He was, of course, in Prometheus, and he's Magneto. He's reprising his role as Magneto, and guess who's going to be Desmond Miles in the upcoming Assassin's Creed film? That's right, Michael Fassbender, friggin' Magneto. He'd be the best assassin ever, that guy. But on to other things. Milf and Cookies. Did you see how fast he was charging there at the start? He's, of course, playing as the class I was just playing at there, and he's using the ability called Blitz. Very, very appropriately named, that one, which allows you basically charge with the shield, knock people down, as I did in the intro, and you saw me sort of rush forwards with it in the last clip, and then you can obviously shoot them once you've knocked to the ground. So it's really good for charging position, and that kind of makes that class the Assaulteer class. There's also another ability they get, the Assaulteer class, called Heat, where you kind of project, like, you know, like the dog cam in Call of Duty 4? The dog cam. Something pops up like that on the back of your soldier if you're playing as the Assaulteer. This is the other ability you can choose for them, and it's sort of like heat rays, like Star Trek heat rays people, and they can't come out behind cover, so it kind of suppresses people, and you can't shoot back at people. So you know that's the other ability of the Assaulteer. The Recon class, though, he actually has a cloak which makes him completely invisible for a short period of time, so you can kind of flank people. I didn't realise as a level 1 you could actually use this, because I thought it was something you unlocked at like level 3, or that's how it seemed to work on the Assaulteer class. But as you can see on the top left, it does say F to activate, so I could have used that at some point in this video, but unfortunately I didn't. The other ability they have is one called Oracle, and that basically kind of spots everybody, because you might be thinking, you know, you can take cover really well behind things, surely that's going to make people cam, but with the Oracle ability, basically it spots out certain people in front of you. So that's kind of how the Recon class fits in. And then you've got the Specialist class, which I didn't use in this video because I'm not a big LMGer, but basically they get a sort of bubble shield called Aegis, and they also get a blackout ability which basically takes out all, it's kind of like an EMP strike which takes out all the enemy equipment. So it's very important to work together with your teammates, and you've seen at the start there, when I was playing, there's sort of lines that go across your teammates when you close them, and it is actually very good, that line system, because it gives you such good awareness as where your teammates are. Admittedly, in most multiplayer games, your teammates are going to be on the minimap, but it's a lot more difficult to watch a minimap than to watch whether or not a line is moving or not, because I'm sure you've experienced this in like Battlefield 3, where you've got to cover a flag, you're capturing it, you need one guy to watch down one way, that's you, the other guy needs to watch like down the other way, and you got it perfectly, you know, there's only two ways the enemy can come, you got it locked down, but then your teammate just decides to, I don't know what he does, like just alt-tab and Google pictures of Christopher Walken or something, or I don't know what these guys do, go for a picnic, or just teabag the guy he's killed like 5 minutes ago, who can't even see him getting teabagged anymore. I don't know what these guys do, but never trust anybody to hold you back in a public server, ever. Or unless these lines are there, because, you know, if somebody's teabagging somebody, like jumping up and down, teabagging, you're going to see the line teabagging. And then, you know, you're going to know. And it definitely does improve teamwork, having this kind of line system linking up to teammates there. And I wish it was sort of an option you could have in Battlefield 4. Obviously, that you could turn on and off because some people aren't going to like that kind of stuff on screen. But it definitely improves teamwork because it makes you so aware your teammates are there around you. But that's that. That was too many dats in one sentence. But this game is, of course, completely free to play. So if you wanted to play it, there's a link in the description. I probably should have told you that at the start, so you could actually try downloading it whilst you're watching this video. But yeah, it is free to play. So, you know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's actually a better free to play game than I'd say like PlanetSide 2 is. In that I don't really feel like I need to spend money in this to get. Obviously, some of the stuff in PlanetSide 2 you got to spend money on to actually compete with other people, and I kind of don't like that. That's the way the PlanetSide 2 is sort of built to an extent. But in this game, just, you know, play, have fun, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Got some other news though, in case, you know, you don't like Ghost Recon Online, you've been sat there bored for the last 5 minutes, or even worse, you too have alt-tabbed and googling pictures of Christopher Walken. Who the fuck would do that? I don't even know where Christopher Walken came from. I was watching James Bond yesterday, and I just thought, he's the only white guy I know who would fuck with Mayday, because she has got a crazy ass stare. That's not a human stare right there. I don't know what planet she's from, Mayday, but she just strikes me as like the kind of chick who would just snap your cock off for fun. That's her hobby. Cock snapping. She's got that crazy cock snapping snare. Sounds like something to go down on a farm, that cock snapping. But anyway, some proper news relating to Valve. And, you know, it's not what you're thinking. I put these pieces together as well. Ghost Recon Online. 3 words. 3. It must be the Half-Life 3 open beta I'm playing. As much as, you know, for a moment there, suffice to say, hope has died in me now. Except this news is that an internal memo at Valve was photographed, and in it said that Left 4 Dead 3 was going to be released on Source Engine 2. Currently there's no games on Source Engine 2. Just imagine what the gameplay and graphical improvements going to be when that. It could be the best zombie game ever. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to have to end this video abruptly because I've waffled my way through the rest of it. But I will see you guys, nonetheless, in the next chapter.